Greetings, fellow YouTubers. Today is March 14th, 2010. A couple days after the precession of the equinox, where the torque of the Earth is now accelerating. Now, I don't want to debate nibiru. Now, the facts are we have enough facts now to prove its existence and also its location. So therefore, what I want to do is try to get as much background information that I have that you can study and follow up on. So, I mean, I've tried this once before and I failed, so bear with me. So, this is a scientific study on the precession of the equinox, as described to us by scholars of old and also witnesses of old. The main clues that are provided for us are secrets kept by our own government and big businesses, the Colombian faction, for example. Now, for me to teach what I have learned as a witness and as also a scholar, this information must be held near and dear and is factual. In every aspect, we have now witnessed for ourselves the torque-induced precession of the equinox of February 16, 2010. The facts are now reality. Back into our solar system, okay, it comes back every 3,000, 5,000 years. Now let's look at the facts. And remember, if you haven't seen nibiru for yourself, then you can find evidence of these bodies in the SHOH website, searching the blue field and note the number of objects surrounding a main body or binary star. These planetary objects circle the binary star itself very quickly, so flashes of nibiru and its planets will jump in and out of the SOHO webcams for at least a few more days. During a torque-induced precession, we now know exactly how the progression takes place. The events that coincide with its passing and the solar, of course, the solar event itself. So this system, the solar system, passes our sun. The poles of our sun will reverse as it passes. For the second time, we get yet another pole reversal in our sun. So the first reversal itself I have documented. That's one of the first movies. I don't believe that many of you have seen it. So the start date is January 29, 2010, and then the finish date for the precession is March 10, 2010. So let's take a closer look at the events and also the effects of our binary star. We don't even need to see it to know it's there. Okay, so if we have a large object such as the one I have described come close to our sun, the effects are very drastic. In other words, it's undeniable as to the existence of such a large body interacting with our sun, moon, and also all the planets in our solar system. Planet X, for instance, was discovered way back in the 80s and also reaffirmed in 2010 by the ESA Space Agency. So you can actually search for an article during December, and I believe it was this year, if you wish to have some more proof what I say is indeed factual and true. So he who has an ear, let him hear. I intend on giving you the precise time frame before the completion of its pass and how we have documented all the effects it has had and also will have on Earth. So the completion of the pass was marked by the second large earthquake that was not an aftershock in Haiti. It was a 7.2, and that was on March 11th. So the time frame itself coincides with a lot of the technical information, as to prime numbers and quadruplet pairs, and the way the interaction of nature and the way the sun and the solar system interact with each other. So from here, as we documented the pole shift, the reversal in the sun itself, we saw that there was many streaks of comets. Many comets, much debris has followed this binary star with it into our system. And if it on its way out doesn't hit anything, that's a good thing, because it has a very long elliptical orbit, and it's a degenerating orbit. What happens is, due to induction and angular momentum itself, what happens with our solar system, for instance, is that the planets circle the sun in a circle, our sun, and then they become elliptical, so they become exaggerated. And as time goes on, heat is one of the main culprits. Is friction that degenerates the orbit itself. And what that's doing is it's the heat itself in a superconducting environment is not it must be sustained. So with planetary orbits and movement, friction is created regardless, because of the movement itself, and also depending on the charge or atmosphere or whatever else you have. So for instance, with our circulation of our weather patterns, we had a jet stream, and we've had fluctuations in the jet streams over the years, and they travel in a certain direction. And if the ocean temperatures stay cold enough where they need to be cold, and don't get too warm where they don't need to get too warm, then you kind of get a stable environment. Well, as we went through the precession itself, we had changed. Time has changed. Okay, now that was documented by NASA. They said, looks like the time has slowed, or actually accelerates. So we're in an acceleration period. As the precession itself makes its way through through the last little wobble there's a point of resistance, and that resistance is what lets go is the Earth, a quake, a large quake, a great quake, the 8.8 in Chile, and then after that we had the 7.2, marking a pair of events. But there was also a pair of events before on the way in. So you see that these prime numbers and the quadruplets all have their relationship to the solar system and the way the planets move. So we know now that we marked the event, we felt the presence of the object, and we also have documents of photos everywhere. So as far as seeing two suns, yes, there was a time during the day, during broad daylight, when you would see two suns. And some of the pictures that we see on the internet are indeed pictures of two suns. But as this thing progressed and started to come back around, then the separation became, in the morning you would have a sun, and then at night, by the moon, you would have the second sun. So that was marked by the rare occasion of supposed Jupiter and Venus. But there was also a chain of stars, of 7 stars that were right next to that maybe you observed. So those looked like a sickle, and a hammer, the old Soviet flag, for instance. And anyways, the currents in the atmosphere, the weather currents, the wind, for instance, has been traveling in a certain direction at a certain speed over a period of time, and now there's a drastic opposing wind force due to the slowing, and then the acceleration of the spin itself of the Earth, the torque that was induced on our axis by this external object that has been theorized by Einstein, Newton, Copernicus, and so on, but has actually been documented as being factual, although that information, again, for what reason they hid it from us, I don't know. But it's our tax money They have the instruments